What is going on, guys? Matt Downs with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports to help give you the edge for this NFL playoffs 2-game slate. Cannot wait to break it down. If you guys are brand new to this channel, we provide both free and paid content for all daily fantasy sports across all sports. If you could please show your support by hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, and of course smashing that like button for all of our future NFL content. If you would like to know more about becoming a better DFS player and taking down that big GPP, head over to www.patreon.com/DGFantasy for more information. If you guys would like to be entered into our $25 giveaway, please like, subscribe, and also comment your favorite GPP option on the slate. We will announce the winner next Friday on our NBA live stream. On Patreon, we give advanced cheat sheets for all DFS sports on Draftkings. These cheat sheets include updated projections, ownership, and our overall favorite plays from slate to slate. We take it a step further by teaching you how to play fantasy sports like a shark, by showing you where the best leverage spots are to put you in the best spots to take down tourneys. Also included is our private Discord chat where you get to talk over the slate with everyone, including our coaches, to help build your lineups. Now let's go ahead and dive right into this NFL slate. Unfortunately, guys, this will be the very last main slate that we'll be covering for the NFL season until next season. Obviously, we have the Super Bowl. We will be covering that as well, but that's going to be a lot more straightforward than obviously these bigger slates. So let's go ahead and start where we normally start. I don't know what TJ's doing. What is going on?
There's something on my roof, I think. I don't know.
Okay, it caught me off guard there. All right, we're gonna keep this rolling. We're not gonna edit this out. So, that's
Something
such,
on the roof. I don't know
a
what's happening.
dad joke. All right, Josh Allen in the quarterback spot here, the highest owned on the slate, right next to Patrick Mahomes. It's a 1-2 punch. Kevin, this is the highest over/under. Who you looking at? Who you taking? Patrick Mahomes is $700 more. I feel like it's a toss-up. Where are you going?
Yeah, I mean, when I was doing my Prize Picks video, I was looking at these guys, and I was just looking at, Mahomes and Allen as, the people I like to hit the over. Rodgers, I like that too. Brady, I didn't want to touch. So I think any of those three is viable, and I probably wouldn't touch Brady. But, I mean, if we're looking cash games, just obviously Mahomes and Allen have about almost double as much as Rodgers for ownership. So, I mean, you got to assume, to be honest, I'd probably take Josh Allen. I mean, Mahomes is a better quarterback. We all know that, but
he's
realistically, he's not scoring better. What'd you say?
He's concussed.
My man's brain is scrambled.
He's got scrambled eggs for brains, and he's not gonna, he actually hasn't been outscoring Josh Allen all year. And I feel like any game script helps Josh Allen. They're either gonna have to, keep ahead to make sure they stay ahead of the Chiefs, or they're gonna be from behind, and he's gonna have to keep pace. So.
Yeah, so you're going with Josh Allen. Also, Josh Allen does allow you to save some salary at $6,900. Yep. Patrick Mahomes, slightly more expensive. TJ, are you going that direction, or are you sticking with Josh Allen for cash? And they're pretty much identical when it comes to ownership.
Yeah, so when I have scrambled eggs, I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather have them for breakfast opposed to in my brain. But in terms of ownership, Matt, yeah, a lot of it is obviously going to Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, rightfully so, in the higher over/under, and what we could think would probably be more of a shootout between than the Packers and Bucks game. I think that game has more of a defensive chance to it. But yeah, if Mahomes is going to be good to go, which it's looking like, and his brain's going to be fine, then I really like paying up for Mahomes at 7,600. Honestly, we saw Josh Allen against the Ravens actually throw every single time in the first quarter. They didn't have a rushing attempt. So I think they try and establish the run here against the Chiefs. Chiefs run defense is putrid opposed to their secondary, which is a little bit better. They're 16th in DVOA against opposing quarterbacks. So for me, in an AFC championship game, somewhere where Josh Allen's never been, and Patrick Mahomes obviously coming off the Super Bowl, I kind of like him at 7,600, honestly. Josh Allen being here for the first time, I don't know if he's going to be nervous coming into this game. That potentially could affect his outcome. So with that being said, and, just thinking to myself, Patrick Mahomes has been in this situation before. $700 price discrepancy there. Give me Mahomes as long as his brain is, okay.
I think I'm going to go with the Patrick Mahomes route for cash as well. I think it ultimately will come down to the build lineup construction. If I'm going down to Josh Allen, it's not going to matter whatsoever. I'm fine with either one of those guys. They should both have very, very good games. But for GPPs, are we touching Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, Kevin? I know you mentioned Aaron Rodgers hit the over, so are you going to be bullish on him?
Yeah, that was probably the worst game I've ever seen him have in my life. I mean, against the Bucks, the first time they played this year. I mean, just looking through that box score, it's interesting because he did so bad. I mean, Brady, obviously the Bucks scored 38 points, but a lot of that was, done defensively. The rushing game, Ronald Jones snapped. That's why I like, to be honest, we'll talk about it in a bit, but I have a different route for the Bucks team. But we did see Gronk snap too, so I mean that's someone I might look at later. But again, Tom Brady, I think he's great, but he's going to try to win this game. I think Rodgers is going to have a bounce back game. I mean, historically speaking, Bucks have a great pass rush, but their secondary is trash. I mean, there's no reason Devontae Adams shouldn't be able to burn him. Alan Lazard is now playing. I don't think he played in that game against them. I think he was still hurt, so that's going to help a little bit. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get back to true form, so I think he's the better GPP play than Brady.
All right, TJ, do you agree with that? You like Aaron Rodgers for GPP?
No, I'll take Tom. Rodgers obviously, Kev, like you alluded to, his worst game of the year was against the Bucs. He threw 2 picks. He was 16 of 35. And for me, Brady coming in at a little bit lower owned, I think he's got the easier matchup in terms of secondaries that they're facing. That Bucs secondary is very good. And we saw that in this first meeting. Now, I'm not saying that because Rodgers struggled the first time these two played earlier in the season, that's going to be the same outcome.
You think the Bucs secondary is very good?
Yeah, I think they're pretty good.
I'll play devil's advocate. I think they're trash. But
okay. 5th in DVOA against opposing quarterbacks.
24th against the position, but yeah.
Okay. So I still think Brady at 6,100 is going to be the tournament play for me. I think he's got a lot to prove here. He obviously wants to get back to that Super Bowl, shove it in Bill's face. So I'm a big narrative guy, especially late in the season. So I'll take Brady at 6,100.
I'll bring one more stat to the table here in terms of our leverage sheet, which you guys can sign up for on patreon.com/DGFantasy. $20 a month gets you our access to all the leverage sheets and our favorite over ratings. Right now, Aaron Rodgers is showing as the best GPP play at 19.2% because of his upside, has the lowest over rating, and then also Patrick Mahomes is showing some good leverage on the field. So I know this will all change, but a good way to just look at this as a whole, Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers straight up have the most upside, but I like Tom Brady as a GPP option as well. For what it's worth, Josh Allen is showing the most overrated. Again, giving away a lot of Patreon content for this because this is a debatable topic. All of these quarterbacks are elite, and there's no debating that. So I do think Aaron Rodgers does present the most upside at that ownership. Let's go ahead and switch over to the running back position. Running back is not straightforward. We have bottom of the barrel price tag running back showing the most ownership. So it's quite evident where the lineup construction is going to go, guys. Singletary, 49.8% owned. CEH, 46% owned. And then Aaron Rodgers, 45.5% owned. Did I say Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, 45.5% owned. So TJ,
your brain scrambled?
Yeah, yeah, it might be.
What's happening here?
Devin Singletary, the highest owned. Do you agree with that, TJ?
Yes and no. I mean, he's cheap. He offers good salary relief. It's a starting running back in a 4-game slate, so I don't hate it. He only had 7 carries against the Bills. And they trusted Josh Allen to win that game for him. It is a pretty good matchup against this Chiefs run defense. And again, very cheap at 4,500. I think he's a good plug and play if you're looking to play some cash. If you're going tournaments, I probably wouldn't go there. I think there's probably some better options here, but in cash, 4,500. If you want to get Mahomes, I think going to Singletary is a safe route. Yeah,
completely agree with you, Kevin. Do you agree with that?
Yeah,
for cash, at least.
I think he's fine for cash.
Yeah,
I probably wouldn't touch him anywhere else. I mean, he's just such a low ceiling, historically. But
for sure.
4,500, it's such a salary saver. I mean, look at the running backs on the slate, man. I mean, this is a dumpster for pricing for running backs. So
I think we can all agree to all 4 of these teams rely so much, with maybe the exception of the Buccaneers, on their passing game.
Yeah.
And all these running backs are just so low priced because of that. Like the highest priced guy we got is Aaron Jones, who is actually at a discount now at $6,500. And it's just hit or miss with all these running backs. So I think really you got to play it safe. You got to save salary here. CEH being the second highest owned on the slate. TJ, do you agree with that? Paired with Singletary, if you had to pick 2 running backs?
Coming back from injury, I don't know. In terms of salary relief, it makes sense for him at 5K. I think I'd rather. I don't
You're
know.
allowed to have
I'm
an
trying
opinion.
to think. Yeah, I know. I think I'd rather go to Fournette maybe at 5,300, or even go to Ronald Jones at 4,600. I don't really think I'm into CEH, honestly.
Yeah, CEH is just so it's not even hit or miss. He's just like I don't get his snap count percentage. It never makes sense. I always run a different offense. I feel like every single time, every single game script is completely different. Go ahead.
Darrell Williams looked good against Cleveland. I just don't think we're going to see CEH get too many touches. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't see him going north of 15, especially coming back from injury. So I think I'm off of CEH, honestly. I think I'd rather go to those Bucks running backs.
Kevin, do you agree with that? So CEH, basically a questionable guy and cash.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. I mean, he just, even all year, I mean, he had 3 games over 20 points, and on that
Such a
offense, that's
disappointment
actually
for
really
me.
bad for, what'd you say?
It was such a disappointment. I took him in
Yeah,
season
yeah.
long.
I mean, that's really,
Yeah,
I feel like you got to go out of your way to do that badly, as the Chiefs lead running back. So, I mean, he didn't have a miserable year, but didn't have a stellar year, a little over 4 point, I think 4 a carry, but it was just, very lackluster. Didn't get a lot of red zone opportunities, which I think is something that a lot of people were surprised with. Where I would say his upside is they drive down the field, they throw some bombs, Tyreek, Kelsey gets him close, and then CEH punches it in. But we haven't seen that all year, so I can't say like that's going to happen. So
Right.
I agree.
So who would you play over him in cash?
In my opinion, I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more with TJ. I think Fournette's my favorite running back on the slate by far.
So
I'd play him in cash and GPP.
if his ownership is that low, you guys are liking him for GPP, right? 31.8%.
I'd play him in anything. I think he's
Cool.
playing, personally, I think he's playing the best
he's
out of any
good.
running back
Yeah.
right now. Yeah. Just cleared 20 points both games. He's back to Fournette form with 9 receptions over those 2 games. So yeah, I love Fournette.
Yeah, tough for me to admit too, but Fournette is looking really good now as a Buccaneer. So one guy smack dab in the middle I want to talk about is Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, $6,500 is actually showing one of the best leverage spots on our sheet just because we know his upside. I feel like out of all these running backs, I feel like he has the highest ceiling. I don't know if you guys can agree with that, but just based on historical evidence here with Aaron Rodgers, 45.5%. He's also lower owned than Singletary and CEH. So again, according to leverage sheet, the best leverage spot. Who are some of your favorite GPP running backs other than Fournette, if you have one, TJ, or do you agree with that?
Yeah, no, I do agree. Wait, what are you showing Aaron Jones at in terms of ownership?
Aaron Jones, 45.5.
Okay, that's pretty high, man. That's a tough matchup against the Bucks. In terms of tournaments, Matt, I mean, there really isn't too much to pick from. I guess, I guess I would go off Fournette and go to Ronald Jones and hope that he finds the end zone there instead of Fournette.
Definitely can happen.
I wouldn't hate going to Darrell Williams, honestly, at 4,800. I like what I saw against him with Cleveland. And if Clyde's on a snap count restriction, then yeah, I think we could see some upside there with Darrell Williams at 4,800. Obviously got the price increase, which kind of stinks, but even still, good offense to be in, especially when you're on the field. So yeah, I don't think I'd go to Aaron Jones, honestly, at 6,500. I think Fournette's probably my favorite. I agree with Kev there. And then I think Ronald Jones is a pretty good pivot off of him.
Okay, so yeah, CEH is yet to be determined if he's actually going to be on a snap count restriction. Kevin, so if you went anywhere else but Leonard Fournette for GPP, where would you go if anywhere else?
I was thinking the same exact thing, actually. I was thinking of Darrell Williams, like maybe just if you want to take a shot, throw a dart. I mean, he looked really good against
cheap
Cleveland.
Too.
So
yeah,
very cheap.
All right,
but that's about it. I mean, Aaron Jones is just, like TJ said, that's the best run D in football in my opinion. So
yeah. I wouldn't actually hate taking Jamal Williams either at 4,400. I think that's a cheap, good option. If he can find the end zone, he should be able to pay off that price tag. He got some pretty good carries against the Rams last week too.
Yep, completely
and if they
agree.
find themselves down, good pass catching back. So for sure.
We've pretty much covered every single running back on the slate. So let's switch over to the wide receivers, see if we can do that for the wide receiver position too. This is not straightforward. There's so many options, guys, to choose from.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs is showing the highest owned at 58.6%. Devontae Adams, 52.5%. And then Tyreek Hill, are you kidding me? 47.9%. Where do you go? I guess I'll lead with Kevin. Kevin, out of these 3, if you can get 2 of them in your lineup, pick 2 out of the 3. Where are you going?
I think you probably take Diggs, and the next one's tough. I think Diggs is the lock. I know he's a little banged up, but I think Diggs is a lock. I mean, sometimes it just looks like he's the only player out there for Josh Allen. When he needs a play, when he needs a third down conversion, when he needs something big, he goes to him. Diggs is playing as good as anyone right now. He's playing as good. I mean, fantasy-wise, he's not as good as Devontae Adams in real life, in my opinion, but he's playing as good fantasy-wise, and he's so consistent. So I think he's the easiest lock. I mean, this is one of the most loaded wide receiver slates. I mean, you could get
it is.
Within 4 games. It's ridiculous.
These are the 4 best teams in the league, easily.
Yeah, you get the 3 Bucks, and then the 3 guys at the top.
Yeah,
not to mention
it's crazy.
Decent guys in between.
Right,
it's crazy.
Beasley, nasty. Yeah, good.
But I don't know. That's a tough one. I'll let you guys take that one. Diggs is a lock, and then the other one too. I mean, I'm curious to your guys' opinion on that one.
I wish I knew. TJ, who are you picking 2 out of 3?
I'd probably go Diggs if he matches up with Breland. I kind of give the edge there to Diggs. So the ownership for me makes sense, especially if they're going to be trailing. Josh Allen, obviously his favorite target there. So I agree with Kev. I'm just trying to think, like Devontae Adams probably going to be matched up with Carlton Davis. That's a pretty nice matchup. I'm excited to actually see that. Tyreek Hill, Tre'Davious White, most likely, I would assume.
It's safe to say all these guys are matchup proof, at least, though.
Yeah, if anybody, I think, Tyreek Hill. I'm excited to watch Tyreek and Tre'Davious White too. I think Devontae Adams would probably be one of my favorite plays against Carlton Davis. I think that's a tough matchup, but again, Devontae Adams probably the most matchup proof guy in the NFL. So Adams
can do it.
yeah, exactly. So Adams and Diggs probably the two guys that I'm looking at. I really like Godwin as a tournament play too. But for Cash, I think I'd probably go with Devontae, honestly.
Because Tre'Davious is, that's the best corner of the three matchups you're talking about. Hands down, I think he's the best corner. So
yeah, can he keep up with Tyreek Hill? I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see.
Only issue. Yeah, what if Tyreek burns him? That is concerning.
But no, I think Diggs makes sense. He is cheaper of those three, and then I kind of like Adams second best.
I'll completely agree with you, TJ, and I'll tell you why. Because if I'm going at the tight end position here, I'm going to take exposure to Kelsey. And then I have either one of the two elite options here for Kansas City while grabbing the elite options from those two other teams. So I think that makes sense. Hoping that Cole Beasley doesn't burn me at $4,100. That's another great option, by the way, at $4,100. John Brown, $4,300. If you guys are saving salary at that position, are you guys going immediately to those two? Kevin?
Brown and Beasley.
Yeah. Or who would you pick from those two if you had to?
It's a wash, man.
I know I shouldn't have asked that question.
I hate them.
Yeah.
But
you already know one of them's going to catch a touchdown, so it just sucks.
This might be crazy. I might rather you don't know who's going to be the 2 and who's going to be the 3, and to eliminate that, equation, I might just take Lazard at 42.
42. Okay, Lazard at 42. Do you like that, TJ?
Yeah, no, I don't hate that. Deep threat, so I'm cool with Lazard. One of him or MVS probably gonna score a touchdown on Sunday, I would assume. But I kind of like the Bucs situation without AB. I don't know if that draws more attention to Evans and Godwin, but I think Godwin's got a pretty good matchup at 5,400. He's really cheap. I would assume Mike Evans gets Jair Alexander, so he's had some pretty tough matchups here over this playoff run. But even with that being said, I don't hate him at 5,800, but I lean Godwin. If you're looking for like a cheaper last piece in cash, I really do like Godwin.
I think TJ hit the nail on the head. I think Godwin is more cash related. I mean, Mike Evans, he's not as consistent, but he has, I think, a higher ceiling. I mean, when he can't be, he's one of those guys, when he can't be covered, he can't be covered. He's just going to dump all over you. So 100%, he can go 40. I mean, how many Godwin doesn't hit 40 too much, but if we're talking consistency, I like Godwin for cash more. So I agree.
Yep. Bringing yet again the leverage sheet to the table here. We're going to wrap up the GPP options. Devontae Adams is showing the best leverage spot on the entire slate. It says that he should be up around 68% owned based on his projection. Wow. So Devontae Adams just that good of a stud. So he's showing the best leverage on the slate. Mike Evans and also Chris Godwin are showing very good leverage spots as well. So those are the GPP options for me. Even though Devontae Adams is a cash option, he's just that good of a player. Same thing with those Bucs wide receivers.
Like Mahomes, like we talked about.
Right. Let's switch over to the tight end position. Travis Kelce or anybody else is the question. TJ, I'll start with you. Are you trying to shove Travis Kelce into your lineup for cash?
Yeah, of course. Of course. It's just evident what he's been all year. Proved it again against Cleveland at 7,800, 25 DraftKings points. The targets are there, the receptions. He finds the end zone. So yes, obviously love Travis Kelce at AK. I think there are some pretty decent cheaper guys, obviously, because there's one guy that's AK, everybody else is less than 3,600 on the slate, which is just absolutely insane to see. Cameron Brate's been pretty consistent so far through the first 2 games at 3K. I don't hate him as a last piece if you're getting off of Kelce, but for me, I want to get to Kelce.
Kevin, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you guys what your opinion was on Cameron Brate.
Yep.
He's been doing pretty good, and especially with AB out, it's just one less mouth to feed. Yeah, Kelce is just the best. He's the most consistent option in fantasy. I mean, he's cleared. I was talking about this in my last video. I think he's cleared 20 points in this is just in PPR, not even counting DraftKings. If you're counting DraftKings, I think he's cleared 20 points in I don't even know, 9 of his last 10 games or something as a tight end, which is just the dumbest thing. That's dumb for a wide receiver. So yeah, he's the most consistent player on the board, like just in all positions. So I think Kelsey's a lock, honestly.
Every single slate we've talked about so far, I talk about how stupid the public is because they just continue to not take Travis Kelce when he's on the slate. He's still showing a good leverage spot still to this day, the very last slate of the season at 57%. Right. Tanyan is showing the worst. He's showing overrated actually, which I get, and showing the best. We've already talked about Cameron Brate. So you're preaching to the choir here. Completely agree with the GPP spot on any one of those Tampa Bay tight ends. When I say anyone, I only mean two, on Gronk and also Cameron Brate. We won't waste any more time. Let's go over to the defense. Where are you guys going in defense? I know this is more of a crapshoot. We have the Packers, the highest owned, 35.8%. Let's start with you, Kevin. Do you agree with the defense against Tampa Bay? I guess since it's the lowest scoring, at least projected scoring team on the slate with the Tampa Bay Bucks.
No. I mean, no.
Who are you going with?
I mean, I don't really, to be honest.
Close your eyes and choose.
As much, close your eyes and choose. And at the salary saver, as much as I just absolutely crapped on, me and TJ, I know we don't agree about the Bucs secondary, but I do think that is the best pass rush in football. It's the best run D in football, and I feel like they can slow games down. So I'd almost rather have the Bucs D as a salary saver.
Bucs D, okay. TJ, where are you going for defense for cash?
I
hate all options.
No, it is. Yeah, it is tough. I'm looking at who are the two quarterbacks that are most likely to turn over the ball on Sunday, and I would deem that Josh Allen and Tom Brady. So I guess just based off of that, I would like the Chiefs at 3,100 probably the most, and then I think my Packers at 3,600 would be my second favorite defense. Both of them showing the most ownership. I'm just trying to think of like what quarterbacks are most likely to turn the ball over, throw a couple picks. I would deem that Josh Allen and Tom Brady.
TJ, you picked out my favorite leverage spot, and according to the ownership and leverage sheet here, Chiefs are the best overall GPP option on the slate for the reason you just said. So I won't waste any more time, guys. We'll go ahead and end the video here. If you guys have any questions in the comments, feel free to ask us any questions. If you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that subscription button, notification bell, and of course, smash that like button for all of our future NFL content. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day. Let's cash.
Bye, guys.